So here we're looking at a garage door installation. Just because it's a garage door doesn't make it any different from any other kind of opening. The first thing you want to do as an installer is go and look at the plane and try to figure out, especially if you weren't the person that measured the door, where this might mount. We're looking at here, possibly even out here if the customer wanted to have some custom work done. Typically on these garage doors we see that this is kind of beveled in, but who knows? Maybe as the installer you didn't have the notes on what to do, so just come up. I know it's now going to be an inside mount and not outside. If the door is much taller than this, like out here, we know we got some work maybe to pop this off and make it an outside mount. So I know we're going to do decolim up here. We're going to come down here following this plane. I know I need some sort of sill adapter. We're going to use the round here. You can see how this matches up really well with this plane. Gives you a nice flat face to mount to. Get plenty of support out of this. So again, first thing, let's get the decolim and the sill screwed in, and then we'll go to putting the door up. So to get the decolim and the sill in, I'm going to take my 7/64 bit. Make sure my face is lined up. Go through this first little score mark here. Might as well just get the decolim out of the way. I'm going to have it sitting up top like this. So you want to countersink for your screw heads, that way that screw lays in there nice and flush. All right, now it's time to put in our decolim. Now I want to set my top housing screw in. I set the screw in there kind of lightly, and then I'm going to take my measurement for my top rail from here, this inside edge of the housing, because again, that's where that rail is going to plug in, all the way over nice and snug in here. And I'm going to cut my top rail and bottom rail the same exact length. All right, so I've cut my top rail and bottom rail. This is the side that's going to plug in, so I've taken about that 35-degree mark to it. That way, if the customer doesn't maintain the door again, there's no place for a screen to snag or get hung up on. I'm going to insert this right up top here. So I have my rail here, and I see I've got about an 1/8 inch of play between the end of the rail and that casing. I know that my rails are cut the same length, so I'm going to want to duplicate that same 1/8 inch gap down below. So I got my bottom rail in loosely with no screws. The first real set of screws I want to start running again, all the bottom rail screws. All right, going up top, again, the first screw I'm going to set is going to be this corner one. And then for this final screw, I'm just going to pull the door over and let it set itself. After that's set, I like to put on our bumper pads and our end cap plugs. Then I like to go and put on the handles. Again, I'm going to set the handle on the back side of the pull bar. Make a light mark. grab my 1/4-inch drill bit and drill through. I'll drop both screws in, get it through the pull bar, and then line up the holes now. The last part is going to be the magnet. And I'm going to set the magnet forward on the screws as opposed to back. I want to try to set it forward. Take my strike plate, and I got to take a number 1 Phillips head now for these screws. So I'm going to mark it first and check this hole and see where it lines up. I want to try to have it just a hair above the top of the magnet. So I know we're good. So again, the last thing we want to do before cleanup is spray the silicone spray on the top and bottom rails. We're also going to sell this as a maintenance kit to the customer. Up top, down below, and you're done.